Wow, folks, what a game. What a game. What a game. What a game, man. We're doing this recap here. Miami Hurricanes 26, Florida Gators 7. Miami Hurricanes finished the job in the fourth quarter with 13 points to end any conversation in this matchup. But the fact that the Florida Gators win this game is a testament to how their defense played. I thought their defense played above and beyond anything you could possibly expect. After the first drive of the game where Miami went right down the field and scored, made it 7-0, thought that this was gonna be another blowout. And at the end of the day, yeah, the final score may look like a blowout, but it wasn't a blowout on the scoreboard. The Florida Gators gave it all they had, but they're just flat out limited offensively. And the Miami Hurricanes defense was absolutely incredible, exceptional. I don't care how inept someone's defense might be in the opinions of people when you allow one first down in the first half. I think they had 32 total yards at halftime. That is sheer and utter domination by Miami's defense. I don't know how this happened in a year that Miami can look like this defensively, but I don't care who you play. You don't see high schools held to one first down and a half, 32 yards, let alone high major Division One schools that are loaded with talent. You can say what you want. Florida has talent. And yeah, I picked a blowout, but there were a number of reasons for that. And a lot of those reasons actually came true tonight. A lot of them went exactly as I expected them to go. Let's talk about this game, man. And it is now almost 2 o'clock in the morning as I'm recording. We had the opportunity to mingle with the fans. We passed out a bunch of lanyards. If you didn't get one, we will be back with lanyards for the future home games this season in the blue parking lot because that's where I park. So, and of course, also, if I haven't, if you see me, ask me for one, please, please do, please make sure you do, because I do sit in the club section. I have credentials to sit in the media room, but I sit with my family in the club section. Listen here, man. What? Wow. Wow. Just wow. The environment was awesome. I had 3 keys to victory. 3 keys. Defensive line dominate, offensive line control the line, and Carson Beck. Carson Beck did not play well tonight, and he admitted it. He did not play well tonight. He was off. But man, the defensive front, the defense, wow. Let's talk about it. Welcome back, everyone, to another edition of Hurricanes Unfiltered, powered by Come On Now, the podcast. I'm your host, Ricky Rodriguez Show. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell, leave a comment, let me know your thoughts. Appreciate y'all jumping on board. And to the fan that came up to me and said, "What's up?" to me because he saw the podcast, I greatly appreciate that, man. I appreciate you. And I thank you for seeing for checking out the podcast. Told me he saw it yesterday for the first time. Thank you. Thank you so much. Please do share it. Let people know. And of course, for the lanyards that I passed out, here is one of them. I'm wearing it. As you see, I am wearing, that's my credential. This is what it looks like. Hurricanes Unfiltered, orange. On the other side, Come On Now, the podcast, and a barcode. The QR code, just scan that QR code, and you can subscribe right to the channel, man. If you got one tonight, I appreciate y'all. Holy crap, man! What an environment! What an environment! It started to pour right when the game started. It started pouring. It actually started pouring about 7, and then was raining when the game started. I mean, the parking lots were muddy. Sure, the field was slick, but man, Miami's offensive line controlled the line of scrimmage. And then the defense was just amazing. Just amazing. Florida Gators had 141 total yards of offense and 7 first downs. They had 1 first down at halftime, 32 yards. They had 109 yards in the second half. 81 came on their only touchdown drive of the game. They had an 11-play, 81-yard drive. Jaden Baugh was making some big runs for the Gators. He was running hard with power, force, hard attack. Was a big dude. Seemed like that drive, things got a little muddied for the Hurricanes. but they had chances to stop him. There was a fourth down where they didn't stop him. Or he just got the first down. I think Lagway got the first down by a stretch. DJ Lagway. But other than that, 81 yards. Outside of that, bro, outside of that, sorry, 11 plays, 80 yards. Florida had 61 yards the rest of the game. 61 yards. Swarming to the ball. They call it ESV. I think E was excitement, S was swarming, V was violence or energies. It is cool. It is cool. Violence, swarming. It's all part of it. Corey Heatherman has these guys playing freely, confident. What I saw from this defense, though, because of the angle I can see, I'm sitting at, they do not lose their assignments. They do not fall for trick plays. They don't fall for the end around okey doke stuff. They don't leave their assignments. Tonight was a real clear picture of it. Every time the Gators tried to do some misdirection type of thing, there were Hurricanes there. Even on the drive that they had 80 yards on, Miami tackled. Miami's tackling is exceptional. Like I'm shocked. Their tackling is exceptional. And I'm not glazing because for years these guys could not tackle. For years. Tackling in football across the board, college, professional, has been bad. They are flying to the ball. You see 6, 7, 8, 9 hats on the ball. It is so sweet to watch. And they did it the entire game. Dominant. Wow. That's all I can say. Wow. Miami opens up. First drive goes 7 plays, 56 yards after a 3 and out, in which it was wham, bam, thank you, man, 3 and out, punt. Miami goes on the field. 3 and out. Miami goes down the field again. This time gets a 53-yard field goal. Carter Davis drills a 53-yard field goal to make it 10-0. And I guess the one thing I wasn't thrilled about is I thought Miami was running too much clock off. I know they wanted to control the ball. They controlled the ball. They had the ball for 36 plus minutes, 36-30 to 23-30. Dominated the time of possession, which is and the opposite of what Florida has done in their last couple of games. Even though they lost them both, they controlled the ball. Miami controlled the ball. But I have concerns when you are running everything off the clock, and I think you're kind of killing tempo a little bit. So that was the one thing that I didn't like very much. Is I think the need to snap the ball with 5 seconds or less on the shot on the play clock. I'd like to see a little bit more tempo, even if you're running the ball. So Davis hits that field goal, and then he hits another one right before the half from 28 yards. That one bothered me a bit because the Canes had the ball at the 6-yard line and went completely bland and conservative and did not even just the play calling was odd. Miami could have been up 17-0 at the break, and I think the game would have already been over. Some people might think that 13-0 game was over, but nah, I had this uneasiness in my stomach because you're dominating, but you're only up 13-0. Your defense can't play any better than it is. So it's bound to have a lapse, and it did. Miami comes out in the third quarter with the ball, chance to go up 20-0. Then when we saw the weirdest play that you could possibly see, don't understand it, don't know what the hell happened. But Marty Brown, I think it was 4th down when they ran this play. I think it was like 4th and 1 or 2 or something like that. And Marty Brown hits the line, has the first down. He's still pumping his legs. He's not wrapped up. And he bounces off, and he goes for a touchdown. Place goes nuts. And then they say, oh, they blew the whistle. I didn't hear a whistle. They got piles being pushed for 4, 5, 6, 7 yards without a whistle. But yet, on a play like this where he's still pumping his legs, he's not wrapped up, and you blew the whistle. It made no sense, and it killed momentum at that moment because the Miami ended up having to punt. So it was like you go from 20-0 to punt. And that's when Florida went on its lengthy drive, 11 plays, 80 yards, 6 minutes and 12 seconds to make it 13-7. And you have a ball game, despite the fact that you have kicked the shit out of this team. They're back in the game, and they feel good. They feel good. Miami gets the ball back and goes 3 and out. I believe it was 3 and out. No, sorry, 1 and out. My bad. They go 1 and out. That moves up in the pocket. He steps up in the pocket. He has a swath of land to run. But instead of running, he decides to throw it downfield. And I'm not going to sit here and really criticize the throw down the field because I believe it was CJ Daniels. He was open, but Beck just threw a shit ball. He threw it behind him. It was late. And of all people, Cormani McClain comes up with the interception for the Gators. Cormani McClain, of all people, comes up with the pick. And now the Gators have the ball at midfield. And you're like, oh, shit, man. I mean, I'm serious. It gets unnerving because, again, you've dominated the game. Now, the Gators have the ball now at midfield. And there's 3 minutes and change to go in the third quarter. They are facing now 4th down and 4 at the end of the third. They're at the Kings 34, 4th and 4. And initially, Billy Napier, coach for the Gators, sends out his kicking team. And I'm thinking, you're going to kick the field goal. It was a 51-yard field goal, but he lets the clock run out to the fourth quarter. Kings lead 13-7. Something happened in that break, and he decides to send his offense back out. I was shocked because you're only down 6. You kick a field goal. If you make it, it's a 3-point game. Anyone's game. He sends his offense back out there, and lo and behold, 4th and 4, DJ Lagway throws a 3-yard pass play. And the Canes defense stuffs them short of the first down, and Miami gets the ball at the 31-yard line. And it's done. You stop their only chance in the fourth quarter. Because after that, Gators couldn't do shit. The defense locked back down. Now, Miami's next drive on offense was awful. 3 and out. Ugly drive, or lack thereof, bluntly. And they got a punt. This time, Dylan Joyce. The punt itself was not a pretty one, but it got a great roll, and it gave the ball to the Gators at their own 18-yard line. So Dylan Joyce really switched the field. He really switched the field with that punt, and that was big. Miami's defense locks back in, 3 and out, forces the Gators to punt. And Miami then gets the ball at the Florida 25. Or was it the 23 or whatever? Florida 25, wherever it was. No, I'm sorry, my bad. The Miami 20. The Miami 20 after the punt. And it was at this point where I'm sitting here telling my wife, and I'm being completely transparent, I'm nervous because this would be a catastrophic level of a loss to dominate the way they did defensively and have one big play pop and you lose 14-13. Like, that would be devastating, right? And I'm sure there were plenty of Hurricanes fans around the state, around the stadium, and around the country watching who were probably also kind of nervous. I was nervous. I admit it. I was nervous. So Miami gets the ball with 11:20 left at the 20. And like I said, I was nervous. And I was telling my wife, I said, we don't score here, we could lose this game. Because it was the type of game where one mistake could cost you the game. And the game, again, the final score was not indicative of the game. Carson Beck on 2nd and 6, facing a rush from the linebacker, and he throws the ball out in the flat to Marty Brown, and Marty Brown's wide open. But the catch that Marty Brown made right there with his arm like reaching behind his back, snagging that ball, not losing his balance, and then going for 16 yards was the biggest play of the game. The absolute biggest play of the game. It was the biggest play of the game because from that point on, Miami dominated the line of scrimmage. After that, the offensive line just dug in and went helmet to helmet. Marty Brown goes for 3. Carson Beck completes the pass for 6 yards to Marty Brown again. It's 3rd and 1. They're going to get the first down. Marty Brown goes for 6 yards. Carson Beck completes a 9-yard pass to Elijah Lofton. 2nd and 1. Mark Fletcher goes for 3 for a first. 1st and 10. Mark Fletcher goes up for 11. Another 1st and 10. Mark Fletcher for 6. Timeout. I think that was timeout. I don't know what the timeout was, but I think it was an injury timeout. 2nd and 4. You're at the Florida 16. Marty Brown for 10 yards. Again, the line was making their presence felt. 6 yard. Marty Brown for 3. 2nd goal from the 3. Marty Brown for 2. Florida calls time. Florida has an injury, and they call timeout. And then Marty Brown up the middle. Up the middle over the top. Touchdown. Miami's up 19-7. They go for 2. They don't get the 2. But at this point, now you know what has to happen for the Gators. They got to throw the football. DJ Lagway in this game was afraid to throw the ball down the field. Now, could that be by game plan, or could that be himself just being uneasy in throwing the ball down the field? I don't know. But most of the throws that he made in this game were swing passes left or right, short passes to avoid throwing picks. And he did absolutely nothing. He was terrible. Bluntly, he was terrible. 12 of 23, 61 yards. Remember, he was completing 71% of his passes. He only completed 52% in this game. His leading receiver had 3 catches for 9 yards. So, catch-wise, 3 catches. And the guy had 2 catches for 22 yards. They were awful. Again, 141 yards the entire game. But Lagway, even legs-wise, 8 attempts, minus 8 yards. I don't remember. He got sacked like 5 times. 4 or 5 times. I think he got sacked 4 or 5 times. Yeah, it was 4 times. Muhammad Toure had 10 tackles, 1 sack. He had a split sack with Ruben Bain and Nakeem Mesidor. You had a sack by Thomas on a great blitz, and then you had a sack by Lightfoot. They had 4 quarterback hurries. I mean, they were in the backfield a lot. And the way that Florida ran their offense today, it was almost as if they were trying to avoid making a mistake. And I understand that because he threw 5 picks last game, but he threw nothing down the field. I mean, absolutely nothing downfield. So the opportunities to get picks, turnovers and such, they were not there because their offense was just swing pass, and nothing down the field. And even when he had a chance to throw the ball down the field, he looked like he was just like he had happy feet in that pocket. They contained him exceptionally well. Could not escape. He couldn't escape the pocket. So they get the ball back, and we got to throw the football. Now you can rear back and go for the quarterback. He gets a 2-yard pass, then he gets sacked, incomplete, and then 4th down, incomplete. Miami gets the ball at the Florida 22, punch it in. 1, 2, 3, 4 plays later or whatever on a Fletcher touchdown with 1 minute 57 left to make it 26-7. That's your final score. That seals the game. Florida gets the ball back again. 4 and out. Lagway scrambles, no game. Lagway, short pass for 2 yards. Lagway, a drop ball. Lagway, up the middle, drop, incomplete pass. There's your ball game. Game's over. Miami then ran 1 play and then put in, victory formation and kneeled it down the last 2. Miami had the ball in the 4th quarter, 11 minutes and 17 seconds to 3:43. Utter domination. Florida had 6 first downs in the 3rd, 1 in the first half, and none in the 4th quarter. They just, amazing. Amazing defense. Again, could you say, There's issues with this team, with the Gators, with their offense. Yes, you could, but this is a team that actually dominated time of possession in their last two games, despite losing. Despite losing, they dominated time of possession. They dominated time of possession despite losing. And if you look at them over the last two games, they only scored 10 points against LSU. I get that. But in that game, DJ Lagway threw for 287 yards. He was 33 of 49. He threw one touchdown, 5 picks. They had 366 yards of offense. They actually outgained LSU. They had the ball for 37 minutes and 46 seconds. They had no business losing that game. Miami did not give them a first down on third down. 0 for 13 on third down conversions. 0 for 13, bro. Just incredible. Absolutely incredible. And of the first downs that the Florida Gators had, 1, 2, 3, 4. They had 4 of them on that one drive, that one long drive. And 2 in the next drive. That Miami stuffed them on the fourth down play for in the fourth quarter. Even the game before, Lagway threw for 222, 23 of 33. They had 355 yards of total offense. They had the ball for 34 minutes and 13 seconds to USF's 25-47. Again, they controlled the ball. Against Miami, they barely had the ball. And I'm sure that there was probably some strategy involved there, but I'd like to see some more tempo, personally, from Miami. I'd like to see some plays down the field. They really didn't throw any plays down the field. There were some issues today. Offensively, there were some issues. But keep it unfiltered. There were some issues. Again, there was wasted timeouts again in the first half. I don't enjoy looking at that. I don't enjoy watching wasted timeouts. I don't like wasted timeouts. So, as special teams wise, Dylan Joyce did a good job of flipping the field on punts, which was important. They committed some stupid penalties. They had 3 alone by the center on snap infractions. False starts on the snap. Can't happen from your center. That can't happen. They weren't deadly or costly penalties, but offensively, they put you behind the sticks. Harder to recover from. Look, Florida has a good defense. I'm not going to take a shit on Florida's defense. They have a good defense. And they came ready to play. There were some throws that I thought Carson Beck short-armed. There was a throw to CJ Daniels that CJ Daniels dropped. That would have been a first down. Daniels catches everything, but he dropped that one. It hit him right in the chest, right in the hands, whatever. It hit him right in the hands. Got to catch the ball. Receiving-wise, Miami wasn't anything special. Marty Brown had 4 catches, 53 yards. Elijah Lofton had 4 catches, 43 yards. That's a good performance by him. Malachi Tony had 4 for 40. Daniels had 4 for 16. Miami had 2 drops in this game. One by Lofton and one by Daniels. Healy Mary had 1 catch for 8 yards. Mark Fletcher was a beast on the ground. Marty Brown, a beast on the ground. They combined for 42 carries. Mark Fletcher had 24 carries, 116 yards, and a touchdown. Marty Brown had 18 for 80 and 2 touchdowns. Should have had a third touchdown. Had that 50-yard run taken from him. Beck had a rough day. 17 to 30, 160 yards and a touchdown. I'm sorry, an interception. Completed 57% of his passes. He's at 94.8, rating. I mean, again, it wasn't a great performance from Carson Beck, but you know what? It won't be perfect. It will not be perfect. You're not going to go through a season winning a national championship potentially and it be perfect. I mean, at the same time, you're going to have struggles here and there. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. But, it's funny. I have people commenting on one of my videos this week about the ranking of number 4. Some people will speculate that Miami will drop in the ranking, of course, because they hate Miami. It just is what it is. Oregon beats Oregon State 41-7. They're going to act like that matters. Oregon State sucks. Oregon State sucks. Oregon State's 0-4. They suck. Oregon State has a loss to Cal. Fresno State slaughtered by Texas Tech and now slaughtered by Oregon. Come on. Miami won a rivalry game over Florida. And they ended up winning by 19 points. And they really dominated the game. This was a domination. But, I did that video and someone said, oh, you barely beat Florida. I guess if barely beating somebody is winning by 19 points and holding them to 7 first downs and 141 yards of offense, I don't know, man. You tell me. Yeah, I thought they'd score more. Sure, it didn't happen. And they won 26-7. They're 4-0. To me, they shouldn't drop. They should jump up because LSU, to me, they beat them worse than LSU did. And LSU's ranked third. And at the end of the day, it's a win. It's a big win. They don't play Florida anytime on the schedule in the near future. Don't know when Florida will schedule Miami again. I think Miami should play Florida every year. The same way Miami should play Florida State every year as they do. But, maybe Florida will grow a sack of balls and keep us on the schedule going forward every year. It's a no-brainer to have these two teams play every year. And in closing, yeah, you have a bye week this week. There's a bye week this week coming up, and then you get ready for Tallahassee, Florida State. They will be undefeated. They will beat Virginia next week, and we're getting old school undefeated versus undefeated Miami Florida State game, and I cannot wait for it. Cannot wait for it. FSU looks good, man. I know they're beating up Podunks, but they did beat Bama, and beating up Podunks and putting up 66 points after putting up 77 points. Team can score some points. Now, they're not going to score 60. I mean, Miami's defense is another animal. And I'll tell you this, Corey Heatherman has done an incredible job. There's a mental switch that's been switched. They play violent, man. They really do. They really do. I'm loving it, man. And I hope you guys are too. We will be obviously at the next home game. And when is that? That is going to be Louisville, the 17th. I think that's a Friday game. We will have lanyards there as well, so we'll be giving them out. But before then, let's get that FSU W and move up to 5-0. Appreciate everyone's support of the channel, and we'll have more content tomorrow and the next day and coming up this week on the Hurricanes. Appreciate y'all as always. But Miami wins 26-7 over the Florida Gators. Dominates the game. Defense is incredible, man. And offensive line takes over in the fourth quarter. That's all I got. Hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel. Ring the bell. Leave a comment. This is Hurricanes Unfiltered, powered by Come On Now, the podcast. Come on now.